Hello and welcome back to my writing vlog series. This is writing vlog number 24. I am doing a quite expensive edit of Project Katrina, and my main character is going through a lot of things. Things happen to her, but I'm making her more active, so instead of things happening to her, she makes things happen as well. And I think it's better this way. In the previous writing vlog, I ended up combining the idea I had for 2 different chapters and then made that into chapter 6. And in this writing vlog, I'm going to actually combine 2 chapter ideas into 1 chapter as well, because I don't think there's enough stuff for one complete chapter in the first part of it. I think that I can just make that part a kind of exposition and then kind of tell the reader where we are and what's going on and what's happening in my main character's mind, instead of trying to show this. Then it will be a quite slow chapter, and I'd rather just get to the point quickly or quicker, and then go into the next part of the story that I'm going to show the reader, and there will actually be something that I can show. And we're going to meet this Dina character again. Maybe Dina isn't a good name when the main character's name is Katrina and Dina, but for now I'm just keeping both names as they are. I like both names, so I don't want to have to change Dina's name unless I really have to. I hope that the names are different enough that they won't confuse the reader. In this chapter 7, I'm going to combine 2 things. The first part is that Katrina feels stuck and she isn't pleased with her life as it is now. And then I also wrote that she's devastated that she can't go back to her family and be with them, and nothing is as it used to be. Actually, I think that the opening part of chapter 7 could more or less be phrased in a similar vein as this. Maybe a few more words would be great. I don't think it would suffice if I just kept this. It would be too much tell. I need to add something to make it proper exposition instead of just keeping this. It would read too much like an outline, and that's actually what it is. So I have to transform these few sentences into prose that I can actually use in the novel, and then I can go into the next part of the chapter, which will be that she isn't doing that well in her new job, but this self-confident and kind woman, Dina, is going to help her, and that changes the story a bit, or I don't know how much it will change the story. It will take the story in a new direction, so it's quite big actually, because this other woman, this Dina character, Katrina's colleague, saves her, so to speak, at a meeting. Katrina asks her out for dinner just to be friendly, but this Dina character wants to have her family come along, and that's when we're going to meet her 3 children. I think she has 3 children, and one of them is this guy that we met earlier that I managed to weave into the story. But yes, enough about that. I'm not going to deviate too much in this writing vlog. I don't think, as I did in the previous writing vlog. I did a few side notes. I talked about other things instead of the project that I actually have to work on. But yes, I won't procrastinate today and just get working on this novel, but I will get back to you in a bit when I have hopefully written an entirely new chapter. Maybe I will talk to you during the course of writing if I come across something that I want to talk about before I conclude the video. And I hope that makes sense. But yes, I'll get to work. See you in a bit. Hello again. It's about 2 hours later in the day, and I have now written an entirely new chapter, and it is about 4,500 words long. So it's a bit on the longer side, but I think it's all right because it still fits within the minimum and maximum ranges of number of words per chapter in this story. In total, the novel is about 84,000 words, so I'm building it up. I'm getting closer and closer to 90,000 words, and soon I will hit 100,000 words. But I hope it won't go much over because the genre is probably one where it's normal to have it between 80 and 100,000 words. Maybe I can go a bit over, like 105 or 110,000 words. But yes, this chapter is combined. I took the part from the next chapter or what I had planned to write in the next one and then combine it. I ended up kind of making two scenes that are interconnected, or they are connected because the characters move from one place to another while they talk, or I have a time skip in the novel as well. But they start in one place and they end in a third place, and this second place that she goes to is where she has to sit and work hard and try to prepare for a presentation that has been moved. Uh, I never know whether to call it pushed back or moved back, or a meeting has been moved to Monday and it's a Monday. It has been moved to that day instead of later on in the week, and my main character, thought she had more time to prepare for the meeting, but the meeting is going to happen that day, and it's after this weekend where she had not that great a time, and it's where she realized that she can't go back. She was also warned that she can't go back to the life that she knew before. And in the beginning of this chapter 7, the main character meets this Dina character again, and Katrina, my main character, is in the bathroom crying, and she's sad and desperate and doesn't know how to cope with all of this, and she's sad about the fact that she can't go back to her own life. And then Dina comes in, or she hears my main character crying and asks her if everything is all right, and Dina kind of soothes her, she comforts her, and even though Katrina is sick to her stomach and threw up, they still bond, and Katrina hugs this person and wants to thank her, and this other character kind of thinks that Katrina is hitting on her and says, "Oh, I'm not interested. I'm married," and stuff like that. They talk about the situation, and it's also Dina who informs my main character about this meeting that's going to take place the very same day. My main character didn't know about this. She just came into work but had to go to the bathroom. I didn't write that, but that's implied. I kind of stayed in a bit more discreet ways that she's at work. It's Monday again, and she can't really cope with what happened during the weekend or the day before. She's back at work and she has to deal with this new life of hers. Things aren't going my main character's way, And she's sad about this, and that's when we meet this Dina again. As I said earlier, she comforts her and they talk, and Dina tells her about this meeting, and then then my main character panics. Oh shit, shit, shit. Her mind is spiraling and she's just panicking, and she's not ready for that meeting, but she has to do something. She has to prepare for the meeting so she has something to show the others. And then I have this time skip where I kind of just sum up that she's working hard on this and she manages to find something that she can present, but she doesn't know whether it's any good or not. And then the next part of the chapter is the scene where Dina is present at the meeting as well, and their boss and two clients and two other men, and those two other men were present at the meeting that where Dina made a presentation. Okay, so this chapter is a bit long, but I think the chapter is about 4,500 words long, and so I actually think that I managed to put a lot of information into this chapter while keeping the pace up and then moving the plot forward. And the chapter ends with my main character inviting Dina and her entire family out for dinner in order to thank her for saving her at that meeting where things just went wrong, and Dina kind of took over and then made the presentation. Fortunately for my main character, Dina is into this project as well and knows stuff about it, and she was able to kind of pitch this idea to the others. And I don't go into detail with what the project is about and how it wows the others and the clients especially, but that's not the important part. The important part is that my main character is struggling and panicking and fumbles around and spills smoothie droplets over her laptop and the papers, and then the projector is malfunctioning as well. And things just go wrong, but fortunately Dina is there and she helps my main character. And I think that it makes sense that my main character wants to thank this other character by inviting her out for dinner, but Dina insists that it can't be romantic because he's happily married, and maybe she's not that happily married after all, because it's kind of implied to a lesser or greater extent that she might not be that happily married after all. She kind of complains about her husband, but that's in the past. It's water under the bridge, and now he's a good husband and he's there for her and the kids, but sometimes he still seems like he's not really that sure about their marriage. But Dina is happy about the kids and the marriage, and she would never regret the marriage because it brought kids into her life. And I don't think that you can say the same thing for the main character, because the kids that she has in her life aren't really hers, and she just has to take care of them if or when they come over. And it's a it's a part of the plot or the story that I won't go into detail with. But yes, the chapter ends with my main character asking Dina out for dinner, and the main character has to text Dina with a they have chosen a day, but they have to pick a time and a place where they're going out for dinner. This next chapter will be fun to write because it's where we're going to meet Dina's 3 kids and her husband, and the oldest one of her kids is a guy around my main character's age. And so I think they're going to hit it off, but there are some complications with that, and I won't spoil that because it's a big part of the plot. But I think it will be interesting to write that chapter because we're going to meet this other character again. I managed to weave him in earlier as well, and I think it will be fun because my main character wants to be with him, but she can't for obvious reasons that aren't obvious when I won't spoil them to you, but it will be obvious when or if you read this story. I hope that it will be when. As I said in the previous writing blog, I hope to focus on this story and the novel Auras of Faith slash Fate, and get them all the way from the first draft and up to the finished draft so I can publish both of them. Now let's see which one of them I will get to finish first, but at the moment I'm working on this Project Katrina. As I said before, it will be interesting to write this next chapter, and because I have combined two chapters into one and the next two or chapter ideas into one, the numbers of chapters in my old versus new outline are not aligned at all, and my outline is messed up now because I have cut something out and moved it up, and then I had to adjust the chapter numbers, and in my document where I have the story, but also in the document with my old versus new outline. But that's something I have to have fun with on my own. But yes, I think that's it for this writing vlog. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you will watch the next one. Until then, take care. Thank you for watching.